Thank you for hanging out with us. It's your old pals, Shram and Cashman. That can only mean you are listening to Derby Rocks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are happy to be joined by you, our friends.
Hey,
W- Hi. Hey, Cash. What's going on, bud?
hey, it's another week and it's awesome. And man, we've got quite the show for you today,
Yeah,
folks.
it's going to be a great one. Thank you for hanging out with us. I do have to say, it's Wednesday. By the time you hear this, I will be in Cleveland preparing for our bout this weekend. But we have a great one for you nonetheless. From the Dallas Derby Devils, we are going to be joined by Tally, Lady Tally, and Velocity Raptor, all from Y'all Holla and the Dallas Derby Devils. They're all involved. It's great to see the Dallas Derby Devils has a huge league, men's, women's, juniors, all of the above. We've got the Clover Cup coming up, the 28th, 29th, and 30th of this month. So we are going to have a great conversation coming up in the second segment. Fun fact is, we've already recorded it. And we know that we only have to kill about 10 minutes. So the good news is you're going to hear a lot of other people on this show, which is one of our favorite kind of episodes
You
because
bet.
we don't have to talk all that much.
Yeah, you get to meet some personalities from another team down in Texas. It's great to meet them. It was they did
That was awesome.
it was, and then they've been very busy in the Derby world all over the place. So it's not only just Dallas Derby too. We're talking, the Yahalas as well as the No Border tournament. Are we
Yeah,
mentioning?
there's a lot of
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
going on
yeah.
in
So,
that conversation. It's going to be a great interview. So make sure you stick around, check that out. Um, it has been a week so far. We've had a couple of days of amazing, nice weather.
oh yeah.
It got pretty warm the other day. Things are drying up and melting the snow. It is a beautiful thing. We are well on our way to spring, Cashman. Can you believe it?
I cannot believe it. I found my earbud I lost when I was shoveling a couple weeks ago.
I saw your Facebook post. I had to laugh, react to it because I knew you were looking for it.
Yeah.
Did you try and use it yet?
I charged it. I haven't had a chance to see if it works now yet, but I'm going to do that in a little
I
bit.
was gonna
So,
say if it charges, you might be in luck. That'd be pretty wild.
yeah, it only sat underneath 100 tons of snow out in the driveway.
Yeah, no
So,
biggie.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but hey, if it works, that is like the best review you could possibly give for that thing, you know?
Without doubt, without doubt. Hey, is this Anderson's first road trip this weekend?
This will be Anderson's first road trip this weekend. We are very excited yet um, a little nervous. We're thinking of all the things we need to pack up. We're definitely bringing the van because I have to bring down like the merch and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, it is going to be an exciting time. It is our first away game and Anderson's first road trip. It'll be his first roller derby bout too that he gets to go to. So it is going to be a great weekend. I am very excited.
It's a super lot. Yeah, it's an exciting weekend. Almost so much, I mean, with this warm weather, it kind of reinvigorates everything too. It's like take a deep breath outside and realize you don't got to wear a parka to be comfortable outside.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
there's just some really coolness going on right now, and it's exciting that you get your first away game this year, and
Mhm.
the new look Cleveland Guardians.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I know they had just made pretty easy work of Pittsburgh Roller Derby's B team. So we'll see how it goes. I know they definitely brought in some ringers. I love Cleveland, but let's call it what it is. They got some great talent. I know Bills and Dragon Body are back on the Guardians for the first time in quite a while. They've got Finn and Miss Cookie from Detroit, Jesse Jack Standen, which is like Team USA status.
Yeah.
So they have a handful of extra talented folks that they have added this season. So I'm definitely excited. Um, did you do anything this week, or do you have anything going on this weekend, buddy?
Nothing really. I mean, I think I'm going to march in the parade with the roller derby with Rock City.
RCRD,
Yeah, they have the this weekend is
St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day parade. It's supposed to be like in the 60s. It's like if it
Yeah,
was
that'll be a nice treat.
yeah, if it was 20s, I wouldn't be there. But
Yeah.
there's a chance.
Well, I was gonna say normally it's snowing or something worse, so
Yeah,
it is
sleeting sideways and
great to hear.
freezing.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, that I mean that's in the realm of possibility right now. But beyond that, nothing really this spectacular. It's been a great week at work.
good.
It's just it's been busy but fun, and it's like the week's been flying by. Even though I thought for half of today was Thursday, I have no idea why. I'm
Is it
like
because we were recording today,
that may have
maybe?
been it. I text my daughter and I'm like, "Hey, how was your Thursday?" And she goes, "Dad, it's Wednesday." And
It's
it's like, "Oh,
Wednesday.
never mind." But no, but how about your week? Has it been? I'm sure you got a lot of things you got to prep for this weekend. So
Yeah, so just trying to get ready for the weekend, making sure everything's in check as far as rosters and stuff like that. Um, Getting hotels booked for everybody this year. I am trying to get our hotels and everything set up. Plus, I'm still ILC, so taking care of things like that. Worrying about the boy. We had his 2 month checkup already yesterday, if you can believe that. And he had to get his shots and stuff. And dad was such a brave boy, even though he was really nervous. And yeah, it's been a busy week just trying to get things ready on top of our already, busy regular week, but it's all good stuff. We're really excited. I know my mom is actually going to travel to Cleveland along with my Aunt Linda, who will meet the baby for the first time. So it's going to be a great weekend. We're really excited.
why don't we just jump and go into break and come back and get into this?
Perfect. Why don't we do that? We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk to Tally, Lady Tally, and Velocity Raptor from the Dallas Derby Devils and Y'all Hollow Roller Derby. You're listening to Derby Rocks on 106.3 WRFC. Welcome back to Derby Rocks. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It is another Friday night. It's actually Wednesday. If you pay attention, you know that we do this. We say it's Friday, it's Wednesday. We have to record sometimes. I'm in Cleveland by the time you hear this, but we are very excited. There's so much Derby going on, and Clover Cup 2025 is no exception, taking place March 28th and 29th. We have three members from the Dallas Derby Devils. We have Lady Tally and Tally and Velocity Raptor. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We're super excited to have all of you on. This is awesome.
Thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us
Perfect,
on.
perfect. We don't usually get three people on at once. So it's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Lady Tally, I'm just going to start right with you. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in roller derby and how you came to join this world of roller sports.
Sure. I think Tally and I's story is a little bit intertwined, obviously, because we are married and we've been together for about 10 years now. But
Nice.
we grew up in the speed skating community. We both inline speed skated, me for half my life, him for more than half of his
Yeah,
life.
more, yeah, 2/3 now.
Yeah, something like that. So we have known about roller derby for pretty much forever. Like it's
Yeah.
just kind of a sister sport to speed skating. Um, In 2017, I think, a good friend of ours who used to speed skate Pound Town played roller derby for Texas Men's Roller Derby and kind of got Tally started. And I saw him do it. It looked like a lot of fun. I got jealous. And so I joined the Dallas Derby Devils that same season.
Very cool. Very cool. Did you play any other sports growing up in high school or college or anything like that other than
Yeah,
speed skating?
I did a little bit of cheerleading,
Okay.
competitive cheerleading. I played a bunch of sports when I was little, track, basketball, volleyball. Never played soccer, a little bit of softball, just kind of dabbled here and there. Speed skating was really the one I fell in love with. And I think now in my adult life, I'm leaning more into the roller derby because you don't have to get up quite as early in the morning, which is really nice.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, Tally, let me ask, how did you find speed skating then? Let me change it up a little bit. How did you find speed skating?
Yeah, so the way I found speed skating is actually it's a little sad. My parents got divorced and my uncle took me to practice. when I was
Okay.
10. And then my whole family came together and we all started doing it together. We even started our own speed team. And so
That's
I started,
really cool.
yeah, so we started our own team. I am the only one that's still doing the skating now, but they all still check in and support, but started way back then, 26 years later, and still doing it.
And,
Uh,
and
Awesome.
that's all on wheels, right? Or is that on blades too?
all on wheels. So they just gradually got bigger starting and now they're getting smaller again, I guess, with roller derby wheels. So so going as big as
Never did any like
125
ice
millimeters
skating.
down to like 60.
Ever how are your ice skating skills?
You know, it crosses over well, but there's not a whole lot of ice going on there. I live in Texas for a reason. I like being hot.
Fair. Fair. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Sit tight for a second, guys. Velocity Raptor, you're up to bat. Tell us all about how you got involved in roller derby.
Yeah, so me, it was kind of like a chance interaction, I guess. I was working at a convenience store and was like near the end of my shift. This lady comes in and she's, buying stuff. I'm just doing her transaction like normal. And before she leaves, she just like out of nowhere, she's just like, "Hey, do you know what roller derby is?" And like after a second, I was kind of like, yeah, I've heard of it. I think just like from popular culture, I think we kind of just know what it is. So I'd heard of it somewhere, but truly didn't know anything about it besides, like girls skating on wheels. And so she was like, well, we practice right down the street. Like we're gonna have an open house soon. You should come. And I was like, yeah, like I kind of didn't think twice about it. I was like, for sure, I'll do it. And maybe like it was a few weeks till that open house. So I think what I did is I didn't want to show up and be like a Bambi on skates. So I bought some like cheap Amazon skates and I skated like at a park in my neighborhood. And from that, I was able to just stay upright. But I was still a Bambi on skates for a long time after that. But I showed up to the open house with my skates, and I got introduced to it wasn't the Dallas Derby Devils, it's actually a league in a neighboring town. But yeah, it was like super random, like so I don't know. I think it was meant to be for sure. Yeah.
I love that. Awesome. Very cool. Did you play any other sports growing up in high school or college or anything like that?
Yeah, so in high school I did wrestling and yeah, wrestling's like a super um I mean, it's an individual sport, but you also like you practice as a team. And so I feel like it was kind of that same feeling as when I heard about Derby. I was like instantly like, yeah, I want to do that. It was the same thing with wrestling. I was like, yeah, that sounds really cool. I want to do that. So I guess you could say like I'm kind of drawn to like maybe those more aggressive, like
Like
fierce
contact
sports.
physical sports? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
So for
Is,
sure, I
is
feel
there
like
any transferable skills you get from wrestling that could be used in roller derby? Um,
yeah, I think so. I think like being like having grit and resilience because like in wrestling, 100% you get knocked on your butt all the time. Like, people are watching you, they're focused on you. Like a lot of the times you're kind of on your own, like particularly me as a jammer. And so I think like absolutely in derby, it's a lot of those same things. It's like you're kind of just thrown to the wolves sometimes, like, and so
Sure.
you have to be brave and resilient.
Yeah,
Um,
tenacity. It sounds like you might be a pretty tough one.
yeah, and balance too. Balance is a big thing in wrestling as well as and obviously jamming.
yeah, 100%.
I can't help but notice, and I'm kind of nerding out a little bit, but
I was gonna say we had to get to it.
I've got this sitting next to me, and
Oh,
and I see behind
oh,
you all these X-Men comics. Sorry,
oh
I was just
no.
nerding out a little bit.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Raptor, was it a little bit of a culture shock joining Derby, seeing how like DIY it was and kind of how like tough and rumble it can be, considering we're all like average folks who have to go to work on Monday?
I think so, yeah. Like I mentioned before, like I had heard of Derby, but I actually didn't know like a thing about it. And so
Right.
I think just kind of just dropping in and seeing you know what the people are like that do Derby and how much it takes like everyone. It's just such a small community, so it really takes everyone to run the leagues and to keep things going. And it's just like a bunch of like down to earth, really cool people that I have met through Derby. So yeah, it's super like and in particular in in my small town where I started Derby, I had never heard of it before. I had been here for like 3 years and I had never heard of it, never came across a flyer or anything like that. So yeah, I think just seeing like actually seeing that it's this whole community like from the ground up, it's was kind of it's been like such a cool experience. But so I think more people should know about it.
Agreed,
Definitely.
agreed.
Yeah.
It's sort of why we do what we do. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Lady Tally, let me ask you, did you have a tough time kind of converting to a solo sport to a more of a team aspect?
That is a good question. So in speed skating, there are teams, like you have relay teams. There's a little bit of that team aspect, and you practice with
Sure.
the team, that kind of thing. But you're not all out there on the floor at the same time like you are in roller derby, right? I played team sports when I was younger. I remember those vibes a little bit. I think I think it was a little bit hard for me because specifically being a jammer, sometimes you feel like there's so much weight on your shoulders, even though it is a team sport and it is up to the blockers also. Just like being new to the sport, and whenever I first came in, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a jammer, it's gonna be fun, I'm fast, it's gonna be fine. And then like when something goes wrong, you feel like it's all on you. Like you're just letting your team down over and over and over again. And it's still taking me like a lot of mental energy to not feel that way. But I have seriously missed out the past few years of my life when I wasn't playing roller derby on that feeling of like your teammates building you up after you feel that way. Like they're always there for you after the fact or during the fact. It was an adjustment at first, to kind of accept that. But I think now that I'm learning to accept the support and the fact that my teammates always have my back, it's a feeling that I never want to lose.
Very cool.
Awesome. Tally, let me ask you, you do the speed skating for so long. You said like most of your life, quite honestly. Then you switched to something a little bit more physical. Now you're getting, hit pretty regularly and things like that. How was the transition for you?
Yeah, and that's why I laughed earlier when Lady Tally was talking about being fast and jamming, and that is one piece of being a good jammer is being fast. It's definitely not the whole thing, as I learned very early on. A lot of those skills did transfer over, though, being the stop and go, hitting the pack, being able to move to a different spot. But the juking does not come naturally at all for me. For Yeah, no, at all. Talking about the stopping though makes me think of when I first started playing roller derby. I like to think that everybody's seen the movie Remember the Titans. It's like my all-time favorite.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have Sunshine walk onto the field. He can throw it a country mile, but he can't pitch the ball 5 feet. That's how
Yeah.
I felt when I first started. Because I could go fast, I could lap everybody, but you wanted me to turn around and stop. I did not know what to do.
Yeah, that's fair. I've been playing since 2016. I still can't plow stop. I'm right there with you.
Shram, I got to point out something. Not one person said whip it when we mentioned, getting into it.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 0
You
for
could write like a
3,
dissertation on our show, and at least like 67% of everybody mentions Whip It when in their origin story. So we're like 0 out of 3 here, which is pretty impressive. So we like that, you know.
Yeah, people like to joke about it, but I all the time I hear whip it, so it's true.
Yeah, yeah. I
And
mean,
it brings, yeah.
it's like a benchmark, there's not too much. You had mentioned pop culture, there's not so many pop culture things. That's one that got, pretty big. So I do get it, but we're always excited when people find Derby a little bit more naturally.
It did certainly help it, that's for sure. It
Yeah,
did
yeah,
bring
rock
people
on.
here. So, yeah,
Doesn't matter how
Awesome.
you got here as long as you did.
that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Raptor, did you have like a aha moment in maybe one of your early bouts or practices where you really like just kind of clicked with everything and you were like, wow, this is absolutely for me?
Oh, it's kind of funny that you mentioned like an aha moment because I truly do feel like I had one of those and I kind of remember it. Um, so when I started, I became bout assessed and it was maybe like at my league where I started, we had the travel teams, which of course I wasn't on those, but we had just kind of like these home teams and it was purple and white. And so I was on one of those and we just had purple versus white and it was just kind of a bunch of baby bouters basically. Um, but I remember I primarily blocked starting out. So I was blocking in that game and I remember just having all these like really good moments of like um I need to get to, the inside or lane one. And I would think it and then it would happen. And so a lot of times when you're learning something new, your brain knows what you should do, but your body doesn't follow, it doesn't respond because it just can't. And so I was having all these moments of like, I need to get over there and I would go, and I need to get over here and stop and I would go. And I just remember after that bout, just being like so elated, like so happy, feeling like I had made so much progress. And so, yeah, that kind of, that whole bout really for me was like just an aha moment of like, oh, I've been putting all this work in and making this effort. And like, I see it in this tangible way. Like, my body is responding the way I want it to. So that really, it's like for obvious, like,
Yeah,
it's been like 4 years now, maybe since because that was like 2019. So like I don't know, 5, 6 years. But yeah, and I still remember it because just
sure.
that feeling that it gave me all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, awesome. So, well, Raptor, let me ask. So you kind of started at like maybe not the most opportune time. You said 2019 maybe. We all know in 2020, roller derby kind of shut down. How did you handle that and kind of what pushed you to stick with it? So when things kind of picked back up, you were ready to go.
Yeah, so yeah, in 2019 I became bout assessed and um in 2020 is I tried out to be on our travel team. And so I made that as like kind of like at the bottom of that totem pole, because we had a lot more experienced skaters there at my league. And so we maybe had 2 games before like the shutdown and everything. And I didn't really get to play in those. Maybe I got put out for like 1 or 2 jams. But yeah, I wasn't part of the main rotation in that,
Sure.
which is understandable. And so, right, like we shut down and um for a while, I guess everything was unknown. We thought it'd be like 2 weeks and 6 weeks, then it wasn't. But throughout that time, I had gotten, so used to skating, so I still skated on my own, but definitely when I when it was time to come back, I was just so motivated to come back because I was like, I've built up all these skills. I've kind of gotten this like taste of what it's like to be on a travel team and like work with, these higher level skaters and all these skills that I want to acquire. So yeah, it was kind of like just getting back to where I had left off, that I was just like so motivated to come back and not lose like that progress really that I had made, all that effort that I had put in pre-COVID. Yeah.
Awesome. It was definitely a tough time. Well, I'm glad you stuck with it. I'm glad you're still doing the thing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's talk Clover Cup. It's super exciting. We've got, Y'all Holla and a bunch of other teams, Austin Anarchy. I know there's a variety of WFTDA and MRDA. So I know it's going to be a very busy weekend. Let's talk all about it. The tallies, what's going on? You guys are playing with Y'all Holla. Raptor, you're coaching, it looks like. I love that. How is it for the Tally clan playing together? How do you guys enjoy that?
We love it.
Yeah.
So when we came back, we took a few years off during COVID and after COVID for some injuries. So when we
Sure,
decided to
good.
come back in 2024, we found out that Dallas Derby Devils were doing co-ed home teams. And so we were really excited to play together and requested to be on the same team. And of course, they didn't do that. They put us on separate teams.
Yeah.
So we've got a really great couples versus each other bout. But whenever we get to play on Yahala together, specifically because Tally, Tally has started. Tally has started blocking this season. So he gets to pivot for me when I jam, which is just super cute. Everyone tells us it's super cute.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
really
really
fun to
great
be
dynamic. I
together.
love that.
Yeah, we know kind of how
Very
he
cool.
thinks and
I just feel bad for the blocker that has to keep us when I'm not wearing the pivot and she doesn't have a star and that blocker has to keep us together because it's like two rabbits.
Sure, just moving quick and everywhere frantic. Nice, nice. Awesome. Lady Tally, let me ask, did you start more WFTDA just playing for Dallas then?
yeah, I played my first 3 seasons of Derby with Dallas Derby Devils All Stars and on their home teams, and then took about 4 or 5 years off. I can't remember exactly, but when we came back, we decided that we wanted to play together. Um,
Yeah,
so we're still speed skating, we're still doing a bunch of other stuff, extracurricular activities and stuff like that. So we didn't want to overcommit. So that's why I decided to play for Yahala so I could play with Tally.
sure. What
Yeah,
was that like
I
the
started
biggest was
with
that like the biggest driving force in your switch to MRDA?
for sure. Yeah.
Very cool. I think it's adorable, honestly. That roller derby is where I met my partner. We just had our first baby. It's like the coolest thing. So I'm right
Congratulations.
on team partner roller derby with you. I love it. It's awesome.
That's great.
Oh,
Was
Yes,
last
thank
was
you,
last
thank you.
weekend Frankie Panky your first game sanctioned at Yalhalla?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had previously.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we had played some games to get our sanction against some really, really high ranked teams. Denver
Sure.
Gatekeepers looking at y'all. But
Yeah.
it was really
Yeah,
cool
that's a
to
tough
play a
one.
tournament as a newly sanctioned MRDA team against teams that were really good to play.
Yeah, I mean, going up against Magic City and teams like that, those are certainly, tough days. But, it sounds like you were well prepared, especially if your games to get MRDA are against Denver and the gatekeepers and stuff. That's pretty tough. Some of the games were up in Rochester were Flower City Roller Derby. Some of our games were like scrimmages, mashups, and stuff like that. We didn't go right for the top of the list. So kudos to you guys for doing it the hard way.
A lot of our leadership has connections with those teams, so those were the games that they were able to get with us.
I think
Fair
when
enough.
we
Yeah,
played Denver,
absolutely.
we found out like we're just gonna do home teams. We're just gonna do it for fun. We get a month into it, like, hey, y'all want to go to Denver?
Just
Super
came back
casual trip to
after a
Denver.
huge hiatus.
Raptor, what got you into coaching?
I would would say I'm just have barely dipped my toe into coaching. Some of actually my DDD teammate, Nancy, she's the head coach and she does a great
Hmm.
job. She was actually used kind of funny. She used to be my coach for a season at my first league. And so that's kind of where how I first my first interactions with her was she became our coach and I just really loved and admired her coaching style, like just the way she is so direct and knows really how to just really like an excellent communicator. And so then when I joined DDD, we became teammates and she started coaching Yahala and I knew she needed help, like on the bench and just with all the extra stuff. And so I kind of, talked to her about it. And I just thought she would be just such an excellent person to learn from. And, now I'm finding that I'm kind of more, even though I don't think of myself in this way, I'm more of a seasoned skater now, a veteran skater now in a lot of ways. Um, just because of the years that I've put in. So I just want to be more confident and be involved in support Derby in all the ways. So I just thought, this is an excellent opportunity to learn
Yeah.
from someone. And so it's just been really kind of fun to just kind of just barely like, step in and kind of see
It's
what it's
cool
like.
though. Don't, hey, it all helps. We're all volunteers. We're all just giving our time. So, how do you think it's helping you as a player?
Oh, well, so what's really interesting is like WT Wifta and Murda are like, I mean, they're so different in like if you just watch the gameplay. We're taught in WIFTA like low and slow, like slow packs, like and then in MRDA they're just like going, 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 like everything's going like a million miles a minute. And so it's been really just fun to watch. Like you really get a front row seat at like the strategy and I think if I can kind of pick up some things that would be helpful for me and work for me and take those over to, my team or my gameplay. It's just been super beneficial just to see the difference in, what could work for us over here in AOD.
Talent, what kind of extra role have you found yourselves in? Are you doing any coaching or any BOD work or anything like that?
What was the question? It was breaking up a little bit. What was the
Yeah.
question?
I'm sorry, do you guys do any like coaching? Are you on the board? Are you on committees?
Yeah. So I'm not coaching in Derby. I am on the training committee for Dallas. So when I get to run practice, everybody groans.
It's always endurance, forever endurance.
Yeah, we're trying to say, people that are in training, do what you're good at, what you're an expert at. Um, so yeah, I've been doing that. Also on some different committees between the two different sports. So with like speed skating, I'm on the speed committee, the officials committee, and then within our league, I'm on a CRC committee. So I like to be involved. But with the training, I think I like that because I can take what I know from speed skating and I can teach that and translate that into derby to where it can help a jammer or a blocker with efficiency to get around the track. There's only so much time in a jam and so many laps you can do, and you got to recover while you're not in the pack, but you also got to get around quickly. So I like taking that knowledge I have and trying to share it with the teammates and anyone that wants to listen.
Maybe Kelly, how about you?
Yeah, I was somehow elected captain of our home team this year. Not really sure how that happened. I feel like I am not the most knowledgeable person in Derby, but I'm gonna learn and I'm excited about that. As y'all Hollis skaters, we also usually attend the Dallas All-Stars practices, and so we spend a lot of time in those practices making sure that the All-Stars are getting the most out of them and giving them feedback on what they can work on and that kind of stuff. So not exactly a coaching role, but a little bit of a mentorship, I guess you could say.
That's awesome. I noticed when I was doing some research that Dallas Derby Devils are celebrating 20 years as a team this year. I think that's super exciting and congratulations. And what is it like? I mean, are you guys celebrating it this year by doing some special things? Or, I mean, we do have the Clover Cup coming up in 2 weeks, but beyond that, do you have like anything special lined up?
Yeah, I know they have like a special anniversary logo out where we've got some cool merch that we're selling. I think the plan is to do up our home games really big this year, do a really big push on making those more of a production instead of just a game every month. So I don't know exactly what's coming, but I know that there is some good plans in the work, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Awesome. Let's talk all about it. We've got the Clover Cup coming up, 328, 329. Check out clovercup.com. Um, what kind of work are y'all putting in? Are you guys part of the events committee? Are you helping to, I don't know, put the track up that day? What kind of responsibilities do y'all have when we start with the tallies? Y'all involved in the Clover Cup setup?
Yeah, so the league has it all hands on deck. So from the bottom to the top, everybody helps. So the Thursday, half the league will be on setup. There's a couple of us setting up the track, but we'll have our setup team. So it gets split up. That way, not one person is doing everything. And then the shifts from Friday through Sunday get split up in two different ones. So the farm team gets to be involved, but also the travel team skaters too. That so everybody pitches in and then strike. Hopefully people stay there to help tear down the track.
Yeah, you are going through Sunday, so that's through the 30th. I see the teams that were chosen and the brackets and everything. Did you try to keep them like Central America, like teams to pick, or was there any philosophy on what teams were picked for the Clover Cup, or was it just first come first serve kind of deal? It's a good question.
No, I know in the past it's typically fairly centrally located.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
know.
in picking teams. Do you know anything, Raptor?
So yeah, I don't know like as far as like why some teams were chosen, but I do know like so last year we had, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we only had teams like in our region, in the NA South region.
Mhm.
Um, this year, I know they've picked a couple teams from the West region that the All-Stars have never played before. So that should be really interesting. And I know there's like a team from Virginia. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so scatterbrained, but I know there's multiple teams that the All-Stars have not played before, and we have, our games for our B team, Battalion of Doom. I think there are some new teams for them as well. So, of course, the juniors are going to have some games, and then, of course, the MRDA games. So yeah, I think we were I know there's definitely some strategy to who was chosen.
Yeah,
I don't
cool.
know the logic, but I know that their teams are chosen that are really going to challenge us and just be really good competitive games.
Yeah, I noticed on the brackets that it had the seedings and then the rankings, WFTDA rankings too. So, and it falls anywhere between ranking of 31 to 57. You got Team Montana, you got the Chainsaws, Twin Valleys, Rocky
Twin
Mountain,
Valleys. Yeah.
yeah, and River City Riot. So you've got an Army of Darkness, of course. So you've got some great competition, very closely ranked. It'll be a fun time. And then, like you said, the MRDA teams, Tampa Bay, Tampa Death Rollers are coming in, Austin Anarchy, and it looks like it's going to be a fantastic weekend. I did want to mention one thing. I noticed that some of the Dallas that maybe, and this what I'm assuming is because we don't have WFTDA champs this year, but we do have MRDA champs. I noticed that some people had shifted over to Dallas Yahalas that were like in the Dallas that were on the women's travel team. Like, and is that the main reason why people are moving over because there are no champs this year for WFTDA, or they just wanted to try something a little bit different?
I think they just love to play roller derby and they will take any opportunity to get. I can see like Guillotine Grace, Juice Box, Coco. I can see them staying and just playing for all of the teams. And they've been a huge asset to our Yahala team. Also, they tend to keep our guys a little bit more calm, which is nice. So
Yeah, and plus it's great you can be chartered on both teams too. So that's which is even better too. So
that's been really nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a nice change for the sport, I think. So definitely.
Sure.
Austin Anarchy, and there's a we had Texas Men's for a while. I think there was Houston. You guys changed teams a lot down there. There's a lot of charter hopping and stuff like that. I um, previously the last couple of years when Austin had come up to Pittsburgh for Gone to the Derby, I actually came down from Rochester to coach them at the event, just knowing a bunch of the folks. So I've gotten to see a lot of those folks, and it's just it's I get so jealous when I see stuff that happens on like the West Coast in Texas and California and all the derby that takes place. Is it just like the coolest thing ever? There's all these events all the time, and we do not have that on the East Coast. You just get your fill of derby. Any of you? Sorry, I know I said I would use your names.
And
Yeah, it's one of the reasons we said we weren't going to do full in on Derby was because of all the travel and all of the
oh,
events and stuff like that. But we were wrong. They're just so fun. We can't stay away.
what's a weekend off?
Right.
Yeah, I really like just as much as I love to play Derby, I love to watch Derby. So any like tournaments that I go to, I watch like majority of the games. So it's really nice to have something super duper like local, like literally we're running it. So, but even if I wasn't part of DDD and I was just, living nearby, I would come to watch just to see, all the really good Derby. So anybody in the area, I would say like come out or make the drive because it's definitely worth it. Derby is so good in person. Like there's something that you can't capture, via stream or via recording that, live and in person is just like this like magical, like all these good feelings. Like so there's nothing like live Derby.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Very cool. Tally, what kind of goals do you have for yourself, knowing that you have this newer MRDA team that's kind of just starting out? Have you set any personal goals for yourself?
Hey, Chris,
Yeah, some goal.
can you mute and unmute for a second? Your voice has been garbled like the last 10 minutes. Hopefully that'll fix it.
Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. I was just saying, have you set any personal goals for yourself with this newer MRDA team? Just kind of starting out. Have you set any personal goals for yourself?
Yeah, I think the biggest personal goal I have for myself is transitioning from being a jammer to being a blocker. It's been something I've been working on the last 6, 7 months now. Something I wanted to do when we came back into Derby after taking about 4 years off. Because while I like jamming and being fast and doing all that, uh, I didn't find I haven't found as much enjoyment in that as I have in blocking. I like the being part of the wall, the team. There's something that I didn't have in like the other roller sports and being a jammer, yes, you have the team, but you're out there by yourself still. Yeah, you're looking for offense, but being part of the wall and that team part is something that I was really looking for. And just being able to trust my teammates on the track, that knowing I don't have to do everything. This is where I need to be, and I need to be there for them. And sometimes being there for them is not trying to be Superman. So that's my goal is to be a solid blocker that my teammates can rely on.
That
I think he has the same for Tally.
Oh,
For Lady Tally.
great.
Yeah.
same question for you. Sorry.
Yeah, I actually had set a goal before the end of last year to be an effective member of Yahala's jamming rotation at Clover Cup. So like my goal deadline is coming up. I'm here and I'm ready for it. And I've made the roster and now it's time to kind of put on a show. Frankie Panky was a good test. I learned a lot from Frankie Panky. So I'm hoping to be able to turn around in 2.5 weeks and make some adjustments and bring what I've got to the table for my teammates.
Awesome.
She's being modest. She did really well this last weekend that the team is like telling me I have to switch my name to Lady Tally's husband.
Yeah, that's right. I did get very cool. Raptor, how about you? What kind of goals have you set for yourself this year?
Goals, just to be better. It sounds kind of lame. But just to be better, like for my team, like as you know, Tally and Lady Tally have mentioned before. Um, you're out there, yeah, you are by yourself, but also like, you got to cooperate with your teammates. So just, taking offense when it's given, or, listening to my coach, or listening to the communication on the tracks, like really overall just being better, feeling like I have made progress and not remaining stagnant. So not super specific, right? But just
Very cool. Very specific.
yeah,
Wow,
being
that's cool.
better,
Yeah,
more athletic.
sure. Raptor, do you have any like habits or superstitions when it comes to game day?
Habits or superstitions? Oh, um, habits. Definitely not get enough sleep the night before. B, like even even though, I plan to be on time, like just rush and be super scrambled on my way to the bout. No, I'm just kidding. I think really like I just like to just be like super centered and be calm. Like I hear a lot sometimes people will be like, "Oh, do you get like nervous before the bouts because you seem super calm?" But like on the inside, it's like I'm very scared. So, I think just having like a calm outer shell, I think is like a really good, like, it kind of sets me up for success. Yeah, not so much a habit, but just, you know.
Oh, good. How about you, Lady Tally? Anything for you specific that you have to do pregame?
Yeah, I like to think of myself as a second half jammer. I'm always stronger in the second half. So if I can warm up really well, it kind of helps alleviate a little bit of that. It gets my body feeling like I'm ready to go. So I'll usually like go for a run, do some like off skates exercises, and I always dance before a bout. So like I'll put in some headphones, I'll do like a little warm up like dance situation. I'm a terrible dancer. It's not great. But I'll if I just kind of like continue to dance and not really think about anything, then it kind of helps keep the nerves away. I also always put my gear on left and then right. So like I have a specific order and like a specific side that I put on first. So if I do something wrong, I have to like take it off and then put it back.
I didn't know that. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably like an organized person's nightmare. I don't think I have a routine for warming up. It's check my wheels, make sure they roll, axle or not axles,
Axles.
bolts. So you're getting things mixed up here. Make sure those are tight.
I
So
definitely my bolts have come off before. I've actually had like a wheel come off before as I was warming up. So I might have like this habit of like constantly checking. Like I'll just touch my bolts and just make sure they're on tight. And I think that's just out of fear, but yeah.
That counts.
yeah, have your wheel fall off in a race, and then you'll be like, that's why I check my bolts.
Yeah.
Understandable, understandable. Maybe tell you just mentioned that you were named captain of a home team, I believe, this year.
Yeah.
Awesome. Um, what what's like that's got to be a pretty big honor. You sounded kind of shocked when you mentioned it to us. But that's pretty cool, right? You know, your peers think you could do this job and they put you in that position. Tell us about that.
Sure. So our home team is the Wrecking Crew. We are all forklift certified. If anybody from the Wrecking Crew is listening to this,
Come
shout
do
out
your
to
thing.
my
You guys are a
homies.
cult.
Yeah, we're not a cult. We just have a lot of secret handshakes and cool stuff like that. Um, so yeah, I accepted a nomination for captain, and I accepted it from the person that I actually nominated to be captain. I personally don't feel like I have a ton of Derby knowledge. I've only played for 4 seasons in total, 3 before COVID, 1 last year, and this is technically my 5th. And I have always been a jammer. I just started learning blocking, so I don't know a lot about pack play or gameplay, or honestly, I hate to say this, I don't know a lot about the rules. I should know the rules a little bit better than I do.
Very
Uh,
role block.
so I was a little shocked that I got elected as captain. But then I was able to pick 2 co-captains. So I picked one of my co-captains is Wombo Combo, who's also on Yahala with us. Incredible jammer, super smart derby player. Really excited to have him on the bench as a co-captain and give me all of like the derby knowledge.
And
And then
former guest on the show here too, by the way.
oh
Back when he played with Austin. So
yeah, yeah. Really awesome dude. And then our other co-captain is Mim. I can't think of like her full Madame Mim, I think is how you say her full name. She has the most team spirit out of anybody I've ever met in my entire life, and she has been such a blessing to me, helping with like the more administrative side of captaining. So I have a very strong captain team behind me, and I do not know what I would do without them.
Fair. Um, so tallies, what you took, you know, it sounds like 4 years off or something like that. That's great. I think everybody should take some time off. What kind of hobbies did you fill your time with? What did you pick up in all that free time?
Yeah. So non-roller sports actually, believe it or not. Because we were both had injuries going on as well. I had an abdominal injury. She had a back injury. I won't take her story away. But I got into running. So started doing half and full marathons, and then we got into the other big thing, we got into rock climbing
So fun.
because we don't want free time.
This is your public service announcement to go and try rock climbing because it's so much fun.
The environment, yeah, the environment of like a rock climbing like gym is so inviting. It really has some similarities to like the roller derby community. It's just it welcomes everybody. And we got more dogs
And Chris,
because
we're not hearing you again, buddy. It's for some strange reason. It's
Okay, you can hear me now.
can hear you. It sounds like bubbly, but we can hear you.
I like
Sorry
bubbles.
about that. Let me move closer. New computer, so I'm sorting this out. Sorry about all that. Well, considering the technical difficulties, it sounds like it's a great time to sort of wrap up. Go to clovercup.com, check that out. We have that coming up March 28th, 29th, and 30th. Uh, you can also go to facebook.com/Clovercup. But before I let you guys go, I want to know what you think the future of roller derby looks like. Tallies, I'll start with you, Lady Tally. What do you think the future of roller derby looks like?
Are you asking for me personally or the
Yeah.
future of our sport?
The sport for
What,
you, whatever your answer is great.
yeah. What do you think is going to be the future of roller derby? You know what?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
A lot of people say juniors. A lot of people say, uh, uh, non-gender teams or whatever. They give all these different. We've heard different answers and things like that. Uh, you know,
Okay, yeah, can I steal those?
Go ahead.
No, we actually both play for an open gender team called Villain Era. It's Texas prioritized, but we do have some skaters from all over. So that's been a really good, really cool experience. The juniors are amazing. I love watching junior roller derby, and love even more when those juniors graduate. There's also been a lot of people that have come out of the weeds lately that used to play back in the day and are making their comebacks. So I don't know if that's necessarily the future of roller derby, but it's cool to see that after COVID, those people, including us, are starting to kind of get drawn back in and they're starting to miss it and come back and help rebuild.
Tal, what do you say?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, grassroots. So the juniors, DIRTA, that's big for any program to grow in any sport. It starts with the kids, and the kids grow and they bring people into the sport. It's hard to recruit kids without kids. So I think that's an obvious answer. But the big thing for me coming from a male's perspective, is the open gender teams and the inclusiveness of it is huge. Like when I first started, I only had got to play high level derby, so I had no idea what I was doing out there, just getting rocked. So having the ability to play on like a home team with everybody like has been huge for me because that's not something I got before, and that is I think something that's really good with helping to grow the sport is just getting people the opportunity to learn and grow in the sport. And so I think it's going in the right direction.
Catherine, what about you?
Yeah, I super duper agree with Lady Tally and Tally. Definitely like it's great that we have like all these like super teams, right? Like I play, for example, I play with Fuego Latino, which is like an incredible team, like a borderless team. But before we can get skaters like myself to that point to play, at that level, we got to start like nurturing our home leagues, right? And growing our home leagues and our home teams. That way we can get better and then send people on to play with these like super teams and these really cool open gender mashup teams. So definitely just growing our local leagues and getting them, strong. I think Dallas is super fortunate that we're able to have a juniors and a men's and a women's. Not a lot of leagues can do that. And so, yeah, I think that definitely keeps us strong and that keeps us growing. Um, having a space for everyone.
Were you up in Portland last weekend for the tournament?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't get to go to that. I was actually at Frankie Pinky with
Frankie
y'all.
Pinky. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's too much
Um,
there to go
yeah.
now.
It's
We
derby
needed,
everywhere.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
we needed you, Raptor.
I will be at the Derby World Cup in Austria with Fuego in
Awesome.
July. So that should
Very
be fun.
awesome. Well, congrats. Thank you guys for coming on the show. Like I said, go check out clovercup.com. We've got that taking place March 28th through the 30th. It's going to be awesome. Go check out Dallas Derby Devils on socials and all that good stuff. Thank you guys for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank y'all so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It was a
Thank
good time.
you.
Good luck.
Have a great night.